I am good enough. While sometimes our narrative needs to not necessarily be right now, but eventually, with a simple change in our mindsets, we can start seeing successes even in the littlest things in our lives. Welcome back to this week's episode of Defeating Weekly. I'm your host, Craig Olson. Thank you, as always, for checking out this week's episode. And as always, you can check us out on LinkedIn, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Share these posts with other people that you think would find them inspirational, as well as share and comment on them so that I can see those of you that are listening and your feelings on these topics. This week, I'm excited about this topic as I feel it's very important. I'm very passionate about it because it's something that we all deal with on a daily basis. And some of us are able to overcome it better than others. And working with middle schoolers, I see it a lot. And the topic is this idea that of the lies that we tell ourselves. So today is the international holiday created by greeting card companies to represent love, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you all. Hopefully you've got someone you're sharing it with. However, this is love geared towards others. But in order to truly love others, I believe we must first love ourselves for who we are. And in order to do that, we must get past the lies we tell ourselves. This seems easy enough, yet is one of the hardest things for us to actually do. I'm dumb, I'm fat, I'm not enough. Why would anyone want to be my friend? The list can go on and on and on. If we were to play back our conversations with ourselves at the end of the day, what would be the theme for yourself? Is it full of negatives about yourself, or is it a positive story you're telling yourself? I want you to take a moment and think about the inner dialogue you have with yourself about your job or goals that you have for your career or the path you wish to take for your life. When you picture your goal or dream job, what do you immediately think about with regards to yourself and getting that job? Do you think I'm underqualified? I'm not smart enough. I'll never have enough experience. And so is way better suited for this job than I am. These are some of the more common things we tell ourselves. As a result, we're putting ourselves at a distinct disadvantage and more probably preventing us from reaching our goal before we even push toward it. In our advisory classes lately, we've been talking about responsibility and who we ultimately have the responsibility to answer to each night. This morning, we watched a short video by a phenomenal speaker, Jeremy Anderson. He's a motivational speaker who, if you haven't listened to any of his speeches, I highly suggest listening to them. They are amazing. In this video, he talked about even though he wasn't the smartest or most talented, he was never going to be outworked. That is something that he can control. That's something that we can control. Instead of flat out saying, I can't do that or I'm not good enough, it is the idea of I am unable to do it right now, but I can get there. I have this opportunity and drive within myself to be able to still reach that goal. Instead of telling ourselves the lies that are not truths, we need to start getting out of our own way and tell ourselves, I am capable of reaching these goals. I need to change the narrative to I am smart. I am athletic. I will be qualified. I will have enough experience. I am suited for this position. I am good enough. While sometimes our narrative needs to not necessarily be right now, but eventually, with a simple change in our mindsets, we can start seeing successes even in the littlest things in our lives. In my position as a teacher, I see a lot of students are struggling with lies that they tell themselves on a daily basis. They don't see anything good in their lives, and so they say everything about their life sucks. We're currently working through a self-image unit in my Avid class, which is a very special class to me as I get to know these students on a more personal basis and dig into their lives and become a family with them. And I decided to incorporate a piece of my morning journaling into our morning routine with that class. When I am journaling, I always start each day with something that I'm thankful for. It can sometimes be as simple as the sun is out. Like this morning, it was phenomenal having light in the morning. I was so happy about that. Or having a great workout, or simply a decent night's sleep. To heavy things such as a great date night or a trip we were able to take, things that we were able to do that are big moments. With this in mind, I'm now each morning having my students answer that one simple question. What is something you're thankful for this morning? And I have them write it down on a Google form for me so that I can see what's going on in their lives. Are they excited about big things that we can celebrate? Or is it getting to be the same thing over and over again of just these little things, and see how can we grow that and make them more thankful? I repeat to them over and over again that it can be a very simple example or it could be large, but I'm trying to make it super low key. And that's something we need to do for ourselves. Some days, just that bare minimum, something small that we're thankful for can help set us down the right path. The goal of this is to be able to start dialoguing with my students about the good things that are in their lives, that they need to quit buying into the lies they tell themselves. For example, some have shared to me that their part of their home life is not great, or maybe they just don't feel as loved as they think they is normal, which I know with having had this group now 2 years and digging in and living with them, that's not true. I do know that some have really difficult home lives, but I also know they're a part of our Avid family and we care for each other even when we're struggling with things. So trying to promote that there is people around them who care about them and love them for who they are. So this week's action steps: deep dive into the things you tell yourself on a daily basis. Identify the truths and the lies you tell yourself. Change can only take place when we know what we're wanting to change in our lives. If we don't identify those lies, if we think they're always fact, then we can't change. We're stuck where we are at. We're going to keep following down that same path. I think about driving in ruts on a mountain. We can't get out of them. We have to do something different. We have to change course in order to get out of them. Second one is to begin working on replacing those lies with gratefulness or thankfulness for what you have and the skills you possess. While we can't all be the next Ken Griffey Jr., we all have talents in different fields. We might just not be in the right field for our talents, and we must keep searching for those for ourselves. This week's quote: the worst lies are the lies we tell ourselves. We live in denial of what we do, even what we think. We do this because we're afraid. We fear we will not find love. And when we find it, we fear we'll lose it. We fear that if we don't have love, we will be unhappy. That was by Richard Bach. This idea of living in fear and negativity is going to always bring us down. We have the opportunity, though, to change that narrative. You have the opportunity to change that narrative. If you are struggling with it, reach out to someone that you know cares about you and talk to them. Let them know where you're at. If you are struggling with finding those truths you have in your life, get that person that cares about you. Ask them what they see about you, what they see in you. Change that narrative. I hope you guys take advantage of this video. You share it with others. I hope you have a great day and defeat the week.